Blam, everyone. This is just showing me how much I need to get my lighting situation. It's not bad today, though, right? Not bad today. So I can see my mic is working this time. How wonderful. Very good. Very good. So listen, I'm here. I'm back. This is round two. Round two of the first episode. I was calling this the Kaz Effect Mindset Mastery podcast. And I may stick with that name. that might have just been the first episode. On today's episode, I'm not gonna be talking exactly about that. I'm going to be focusing a lot more today on what I'll just call shifts, inevitable shifts that occur in our lives, of all sorts. It's not limited to one area. It's not limited to good or bad. It's not limited to up or down, left or right, forward or back. Just shifts, because I'm going to open up my Isagenix E Plus energy shot for some mental clarity as I jumping with all my friends, Castronauts, loyal viewers, listeners. And I'm just excited. To do this, to be, look, I invested in this microphone. I told you the story, episode 1. I invested in this mic, and it sat on my desk for a month or so. And then I finally did the first version of this YouTube. And I liked it a lot. I really liked it. It was fun. Bottoms up. Because I've been doing these YouTube video or these live streams on Facebook for probably about 2 months now when I drive to the gym. And one thing is I didn't go to the gym today. And I didn't go on Tuesday. I'll be there tomorrow. So that's, nothing bad. That's the structure of my week this week with some of my other responsibilities. And sometimes it's good to downshift just a little bit without stopping altogether. So maybe other weeks I've gone 5 or 6 days to the gym. This week it's going to be 4 days to the gym. So, that's good. So regardless, even that in that, right? Even that in that there's been a shift this week in my energy and my focus and what I have going on. And I was at the ocean last weekend. And whenever I go to the ocean, I think a lot about life, and it's a very reflective place for me. And one thing I've always thought about the ocean is how I learned this very young. I feel like when I learned that the moon, the cycle of the moon has an effect on the ocean. And that's kind of crazy, if I'm very honest. That's kind of crazy. Because if the cycle of the moon affects the ocean, and if you don't know what I mean by affects the ocean, it means how strong the tide is, when it's high tide, when it's low tide, all these aspects of how the ocean behaves is something to do with the moon cycle. So it always struck me that, like, if the moon can affect the ocean, it's certainly it can affect people. It can affect humans. It can affect the rest of the earth, the rest of nature. And sometimes when you hear about these kinds of ideas of moon cycles or astrology or retrogrades you hear about with planets, sometimes it gets a little hokey. It gets a little some people call it woo-woo, right? And what I mean by that is, astrology can be a science, right? The study of planets, the study of orbits, the study of space, the solar system, right? But it can also get into like a worshiping thing, right? Where, let's just say, for example, I'm a very like I have no scientific understanding at all. Like think Encino Man, right? What does someone like that think of nighttime and daytime, right? If their brains are still rational, but they have no understanding of science of the Earth turning, couldn't you see how someone in that mindset could say to themselves, there's higher powers that make it night and day, which I do believe that, there is a higher power. I don't think necessarily though there's a god of the daytime and a god of the nighttime, or a god of this planet, a god of that planet, right? See what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Like some of the astrology, what can be called astrology, sometimes it gets a little woo-woo where people associate other things to what really, if you're going to make it about a spirituality, that's one thing. I that's not the conversation I'm getting into, but I think I have to address. But if you look at it as a science, just that these are real objects that exist, again, not questioning where they came from, just how they behave. And when those things occur, different things can occur on this planet. So right now, for example, I've been noticing a lot of technological things coming up. I've noticed a lot of funny, like there's been a lot of stuff with like injuries and even deaths. I don't say it lightly, but that is one of the things that a lot of time is associated with retrogrades. And these are important things to consider. These are immediate things to consider. But at the same time, I don't think that they need to determine your life. Meaning, let's see, October, yep. October 14th and November 3rd. I knew it. I swear I didn't check before. Crazy. So right now we're in what's called a Mercury retrograde. And some people, again, want to make this into a woo-woo thing. I'm going to change that. I'm going to take a rational approach. I'm going to take a scientific approach. So this is from almanac.com. I'm not saying that's the best or the worst site. Just one I pulled up. Believe in what you want. Make your own choices. Think for yourself. This is philosophy class, right? Think for yourself. So, but listen and question and see what resonates. See what resonates with you and why. So this says, due to the way our planet's orbit interacts with the orbits of the other planets, so similar to what pretty much, what I addressed, just a little bit more detail, they sometimes appear to be traveling backward through the night sky with respect to the zodiac. This is, in fact, an illusion, which we call apparent retrograde motion. 3 times a year, it appears as if Mercury is traveling backwards in the sky. We refer to these periods as times when Mercury is in retrograde motion, or simply Mercury retrograde. These times in particular were traditionally associated with confusion, delay, and frustration. Think undelivered love letters, email blunders, and frazzled travel plans. However, this is an excellent time to reflect on the past. It's said that intuition is high during these periods, and coincidences can be extraordinary. When is Mercury in retrograde in 2020? in 2020, Mercury will be in apparent retrograde motion during the following ranges. What the heck, this thing? Get out of here. I don't want to leave. Okay. Yeah. Mercury will be in apparent retrograde motion during the following ranges of dates. February 17th to March 10th, June 18th to July 12th, and October 14th to November 3rd. So this is what this article says. I like this article so far. I hadn't read this. I just picked this up. So because all of this, like I said, this resonates with me. This is things that I understand, things that I believe in. Again, there's no woo-woo to this. I don't look. At the end of the day, I'm going to say I want to. I'll say like kind of the conclusion before I get to it. I'll say it right now, which is I still believe we have control over our own lives. I still believe you can make a decision. This might say like, don't make that kind of a decision. I'm going to say you still might want to, but listen, you got to go with sometimes your gut, right? Independent of reading this article. This is not telling me something. Maybe there's some details of something I didn't know exactly, like the dates. But sometimes certain people are more just sensitive to this stuff. And I did not read this before. I did not check these dates. I just had an inclination that something's a little different. Something's a little different right now. So, very different with a lot of the things going on in the world. Not to be underestimated, not to be undervalued, to strongly be considered when thinking about life. Okay? So, reading on. What you should do when Mercury is retrograde. So, this is where, again, you can say, I don't believe in certain aspects of this, and I'm not saying I do either. And I'm not telling you to. What I'm saying is, it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay? The planet Mercury rules communication in all forms: listening, writing, reading, speaking, and so on, as well as activities closely related to communication, like negotiations and contracts. It also rules travel, automobiles, shipping, and mail. So when Mercury is retrograde, try to remain flexible, patient, and understanding. Allow extra time for travel and avoid signing onto any new contracts. Again, this is saying what it suggests. I'm not saying I agree. Just saying it's interesting. Signing any new contracts that you're unsure of. Double check your email responses and check in with reservations before you take that trip. So look, this is giving you some details. But here's the thing. The details it's giving you aren't going to be the details you experience. For example, I have a Capoeira graduation ceremony tomorrow. I was planning tomorrow night to have a little get-together for the UFC fights to watch at my girlfriend's house tomorrow night. It's Thursday. This was about an hour ago. It's 3 o'clock Thursday, only a couple days, less than 48 hours before the capoeira ceremony, and a little more than 48 hours before the night party. Just found out that the fights are at 11 a.m. on Saturday. I swear I had no knowledge of this. I swear this is very new information. Out of nowhere. Another story. Friend of mine. This is a very, very true story. It's crazy because it literally just, I'm in the midst of it. It's today. Same thing today. A friend of mine that had a very fork in the road, very, really, truly life-changing situation. And it looked like it was going to be one way, and he was going to be having some responsibilities that were new and life-altering. Including in that was moving cities, moving from one place to another. And he's very intricately involved with one of my main life dedications. And in the fell swoop of one moment, that's all changed today. Like, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm not just saying this from this, again, like, here's me seeing, okay, someone told me Mercury's in retrograde and now I have to question everything. Not at all. Like the total opposite. Like there's a lot of crazy stuff happening. And I'm like, what's going on here? This is interesting. And let's just say, keep your hats on. Hold on tight, buckle up. And again, part of this is what's going on in the world right now. This is not my normal sort of video. My normal sort of videos are very focused, very intentional, very clear. And this is in its own way. This isn't, I don't want to downplay the value. Like this is good. Like you have to be able to function on both sides, the way I see it. It's like you have to be, highly alert, highly motivated, highly driven. And you have to be like a little bit like relaxed and at ease and flow as well. It's a delicate but powerful combination of both, not one or the other, both. And what I think is because of what some of this article is talking about, because of that, there's aspects to life right now that just stay aware, stay ready. All right. So review projects and plans at these times, but wait until Mercury is direct again to make any final decisions. You can't stop your life, but plan ahead, right? So still personal responsibility. Plan ahead, have backup plans, and be prepared for people's shorter fuses and miscommunication. So this is an interesting one. Take a moment to reflect. Some blame Mercury retrograde for all the bad things that happen in their lives. Instead, this is a good time to sit back and review what you put your energy toward. Wow, that's good. For example, if family and faith are important to you, are you putting enough of your energy into them, or have you become overextended in other areas such as your career or a hobby? Losing the balance between different parts of your life can cause all of them to suffer. So being aware of the connections between them, especially during Mercury retrograde, can help you to maintain or at least better understand how that balance works. Take a moment to reflect. Mercury retrograde can be an excellent time to take a step back and reanalyze who you are and what you are doing, but do refrain from making any drastic changes until after retrograde has ended. So, again, take it for what it's worth. There's also Halloween coming up next week. Always a lot of interesting energy around Halloween. And I think that regardless of if you want to believe in any of that or you want to let any of that affect you, I do think this time of the year, we're heading into the last 2 months. Again, election, colder south, a lot of cooler weather, a lot of things happening all around the same time. And it's just good to be aware. Another story I'll tell you, there's a big shift in my the gym, the facility I train out of. There's a big shift over there last week. I don't know where. What was last week? So today's Thursday. So that was the 15th. Second day. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, well, we got to get to it over here. I'm going to leave you there. Again, a little different take, a little different energy today, a little different mindset, but that's why I said embrace the shifts. Embrace the shifts. When there's these changes, these big situations that in a moment can be so different. That's opportunity. That's opportunity. So we'll leave you there. All right, everybody, you have a great day. I'll be back soon. I'm enjoying this. I'm being more consistent. And so I'm going to allow for this fluctuation period, but I'm still going to stay consistent and just become more consistent. Because like I said, it took me about maybe 2 months, at least a month, that mic was on my desk before I recorded my first edition of this podcast. And now this is my second episode. And I didn't even hit the mute button accidentally this time. So already improvement. All right, we'll see you next time. Kaz out. Blah, blam. Share, like, tag. You know how to do it. Talk to them. Peace.